Hey, welcome to Lenny Schmidts Quarantine Comedy. We're starting a couple minutes late because I had a minor issue. But you know what? Do me a favor. Like the video, man. Give it a little thumbs up right now. If you go right down there somewhere, you can hit a little thumbs up. Share the video. It helps me out. It's really important to YouTube. Also, you can even subscribe. Look, bam, there's a shot right there. Click on my face right there. I have a face right there, I think. Click on that for me, and that'll help me out. Apparently, those things are important to YouTube. So do that for me. Tune in. I guess today, my good friend, the one and only Mr. Spencer James. All right, everybody, buckle up. I'm having minor tech issues as always. Okay. Anyway, hold on. We'll get going here. Hey, welcome to the show, guys. How you doing? Thanks for being here. I apologize for starting so late. Whatever. It's 5 minutes late. It's not that bad. Oh, forgot to fix that. Do that, the thing. First of all, let me start with this, man. There was a tornado in Naperville, or in the area where I grew up. I just found out about it, man. I guess Sunday night. Where I'm going to be back there in a couple weeks. I got, in fact, we do a dinner there. We have dinner at Papa's Pizza. Gar, who watches the show regularly. Mike Garcia, sorry, I burped and swallowed at the same time. That's very awkward. Mike Garcia let me know there was a tornado, so I hope everybody in Naperville and in Woodridge is okay. I heard the neighborhood is not great. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Man, I grew up in that area. That's Tornado Alley. We live right in Tornado Alley. They kind of call it the Romeoville, Bolingbrook, Naperville, Plainfield area. Usually, Plainfield High School used to get wiped out every year. It would get totally destroyed. But tornadoes came through that area tons and tons of times, and it was scary. It was awkward. We had the sirens there. We have all that stuff, man. And those tornadoes come. They sound like a train. I sat on the roof of my house in Romeoville when I was about eight, maybe 10, and watched tornadoes destroy an oil refinery in Lamont. You could see the whole thing. It looked like a Michael Bay movie. You could see shit flying. It was insane. Here's what happened. It was I think it was called Union 76 refinery. I can't really remember, but it was in Lamont. And here's what happened. A tornado went through Lamont and wiped out pretty much the whole city. I mean, it was really messed up. And it hit the refinery, and it went through. And when it went through, another tornado formed and came through town right after it. So it was like two tornadoes came through. But then when the first tornado came through, it ran into the second tornado, which made the super tornado, and it went back through Lamont again, and it completely destroyed that town. I mean, it wiped everything out. It happened a lot. That happened a lot in that area. But when it happened, I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. None of it is funny. It's horrible. It's very horrible. But dude, you could see fires and stuff, and you could hear. There's those huge oil tanks that are on the ground that I guess they put oil in. They're gigantic. I mean, they're enormous. But you could hear and see them blow up. And man, it was like a movie. It was, you'd see the lightning, and then the tanker would go, and it looked like a mushroom cloud. And then you would just hear this, and everything would shake. And we saw it happen. And then that refinery burned, I want to say, for almost 2 weeks. There was nothing they could do. You couldn't just go in there and put out an oil refinery. So they had to. What they did was they watered down and tried to protect the other oil tankers that had not blown, to keep them from blowing up. And then the whole town was wiped out around it. But it's horrible, man. That area is where I grew up. So in Plainfield High School, I remember when that high school got destroyed. Tornadoes came through there all the time. So I hope everybody in Woodridge and Naperville is okay, man. It's not great. It's not great. I always forget. I mean, I'm going back there in a few weeks. I always forget this time of year is a tough time because those tornadoes, man, they're rough. It's a little late. It's a little late for that, though. It's usually April and May is when the real bad tornado season, so to speak. You know what I mean? So for it to be happening in late June, I mean, July's right around the corner. Then again, I mean, any storm back there. My daughter's back there. Lily's back in Illinois, so she called me the other day and had was out in the middle of a storm. So I forget what those are like. I live in LA. We don't have any of that here. We don't have any. We barely have thunder and lightning. You know, we have maybe once a year we'll get some thunder or lightning, and it's very minor, but nothing like the Midwest. Those storms that would last for hours, man. It was brutal. It was rough. So anyway, thanks for being here. It's a great way to open the show. I hope everyone in Naperville and Plainfield is going to be okay. And Shauna Johnston's here. One of her church members passed away. The refinery explosion. Yeah, it wiped out the town. The tornado wiped out the town. Then the second tornado tapped it off, and then the two tornadoes combined, and then the explosions. I mean, it was devastating. It was all over. It was national news for a long time, but that had to be in the late 70s sometime. So thanks for being here on a bright note. Way to open a comedy podcast is to talk about tornadoes and explosions and death. So, yeah. Thanks for being here, man. Hey, if you're in LA and you're wondering what's going on tonight, you've been watching my social media, you know I have a show in about 2 hours at the brand new Comedy Chateau. It's called the Chateau, I believe. Comedy Chateau. I'm going to be there. It's on Lancashire over by Universal. You can get free tickets. Go to my Facebook. That's where it's not on my website. It's on my Facebook. Go to my Facebook, Lenny Schmidt Comedy, and there's an Eventbrite link right there, and you click on that, and then you go to tickets. You click on that, and it's promo code Lenny, and you get free tickets. So there you go. If you want to see me in 2 hours telling yucks over there in the valley, it's not too far from my house. I will be there telling jokes. What else is going on in the news today? I didn't check a whole lot of news stuff. I know if you're here, the ships are sailing. Everything's good with the ships. Some of you guys are ship fans. Carnival solidified their Long Beach cruise schedules now. The Panorama's set to launch in late July, and I think the Miracle's going to be going out of there as well. Miracle's doing the short Baja runs now, and the Panorama's doing the longer ones. And the Miracle's doing what the inspiration and the imagination used to do. So there you go. So that's what's happening there. That's all I got, man. What's going on in L.A.? Nothing's going on in L.A. Blah, 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 blah. There's some food. The White Sox won today. Only one of you cares about that, and I brought it up because they needed to win. Oh, man, Britney Spears was in court today for the Free Britney thing, and she actually testified for the first time during this whole thing, if you guys have been following it. So I wish her the best. She wants out of the conservatory. Her dad runs all her business, so... if you're following it, it's a pretty messed up story, but she actually testified today. So that's what's happening there with Britney Spears. And that's all I got, man. Let's go to the board. There's a lot of people here on the board, man. Let's say hello. There's a show. Oh, before I get to the board, right before I start, this weekend, Saturday, June 26th, this Saturday, is the Reconnecting Comedy 5, the fifth one of those shows. This is my live interactive sketch, improv, viral, streaming comedy show on YouTube. It's a little different than this. Even though we're live now on YouTube, this show is me hosting a number of different sketches, live performers, and interactive stuff with guests. It's a lot of fun. And one of those sketches, some of the sketches I shoot with my Patreon members who are watching the show, and one of those sketches I shot a couple days ago with Brenda Runyon, who is I believe she's on the board right now, and she has a character named Myrtle, and if you watch the show, Reconnecting Comedy, you've seen Myrtle in a couple of episodes, and she's in at least two sketches this weekend, and she was fantastic this week in her performance of the Myrtle. Myrtle is called Myrtle for Match for Myrtle. That's it. The name of the sketch is Match for Myrtle. So basically, Myrtle hooks up with a matchmaker who some of you might know is Julia Bendis, who also is a guest on the show regularly. And they try to get her a match. So it's fun. I finished the video. It looks fantastic. And Brenda was absolutely lights out, man. And everyone should give her a huge round of applause right now. She deserves. This is just for Brenda. That's for Brenda, man. That's pretty cool. I was really happy for her, and she was fantastic. So I'm looking forward to this weekend showing the sketch live. So, bam, bam, bam. Let's go to the board. The Mulligans are here. Vince Mulligan. Oh, they also have a sketch, too. The Mulligans, Captain Chaos. It's hilarious. I'm not going to say anything about it, but I'm going to show it this weekend. It's going to be great. All right, Robin's here. Brenda Runyon, of course, is here for now. I think mentioned she's going to be heading out. Yeah, Brenda can't wait for Saturday. You should, because you were brilliant. You're going to be great. You're going to love it very much. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Brenda. I guess Brenda is leaving. Okay, that's cool. Vince Mulligan. Okay, that's good. He's here. Everybody's here. We got lots of people. Like the video if you're here. Appreciate it. That's good. I have more likes than I have viewers. That's the best. That's when you know things are going well. So I don't know if who's cheating. My daughter could be liking in the other room. Besides that, man, that's all I got. Let's get to it. Let's do it right now. Your guest today, I met him a few years ago. I think the first time I met him was on a cruise ship, and we worked together. And then since then, we became friends. And I saw him when I was working in Vegas, and we stay in touch. We talk a bit. In fact, someone mentioned to me on this board the other day that they're going to be in Alaska on the Encore in August, and Spencer and I will be on that ship as well. We will be the comedians on that cruise. It'll be my second ship, but it'll be the first. It'll be a month. We'll be out. So in Alaska, which I couldn't be more excited about. So that being said, you know what? Let's take a moment right now. And Spencer's a stand-up comic and filmmaker, good friend of mine, and he lives in Las Vegas. And you know what? I'll prove it to you right now. Here is a short clip of my good friend, the one and only Mr. Spencer James.
That was the only relationship I had, man. I was in 6th grade. I had a gymnast as a girlfriend. Yeah, I'd tear that up now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're in 6th grade, you a fat girl. I'm fat, you know, she's a gymnast. We got nothing in common. She's like, I can twist my body like a pretzel. And I was like, I love pretzel. She tasted salted. I don't know what I'm doing with this girl, man. I got no idea what I'm doing. I'm broke. I don't know how I got her, right? You can't be broke and be in a relationship. That's awkward. I'm the poorest one in here. I drive a 1983 Peugeot. Yeah! Clapping. That's new. All right, other poor people. Walmart shoppers, thanks for coming. I drive a 1983 Peugeot. That's a car, ladies. Cost me $300, right? Once, not a month, dick. A lot of poor folk, all right. Here's a true sad story. 2 months after I got this damn thing, I got a flat tire. I walked into Discount Tires. I was like, excuse me, I need a spare tire for a Peugeot. Guy behind the counter goes, we don't do bicycles. Oh no, that's a car. He's like, all right, I'll look it up. Oh! Yo, Phil, we got this! It says here, sir, it's gonna be $307 to replace your tire. My girlfriend thought that was freaking hilarious. She was standing right there. You know what she said? Ain't that a bitch? Honey, you got a flat tire and totaled your car.
Yeah, folks, that's my buddy right there, Spencer James. Let's bring him out here live. Bam. See if that works. Dude.
Oh, there we
go.
Here.
You're here.
Working?
Yeah, you're here. You sound great. I'm going to turn your sound up a little bit. Say a couple things. We had for those of you that are watching, we had trouble getting Spencer connected to the show. But I got to admit, dude, I could see you the whole time while I was doing the show, and I saw you build the set while I was doing this. That was incredible. You're like running around. You get your computer behind you. A minute ago, you were standing in the dining room, just looking at the phone, going, "Can I fucking swear on this show?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course, go right ahead, dude."
Gotta make it look nice, man. Gotta make it look nice.
I like it. Thanks for the effort, man. I appreciate it. You'd be surprised. Every once in a while, I get a couple guys that sit in their basement, and just don't give a shit.
You know, I did a Zoom show. Have you done those? Have you done a Zoom corporate show yet?
Yeah.
I did those, and I did 5 of them, and 4 of them went gangbusters. I was so happy about it. And the 5th one, I was feeling myself, and I told the booker, I was like, man, I'm killing these things. And he called me the next day, and he goes, what did you do? And I go, right? Crushed.
Like it's a positive? Yeah, I told you. Beating your chest.
And he goes, this lady berated me for the last 10 minutes talking about how you just you did everything from your bedroom. And I was like, she was complaining that I was doing everything from my bedroom. So I moved. I moved. That's how self-conscious we are. At least I am a comedian, that I was like, oh my God, I'm 38. I need to get out of this one bedroom. I got to get out of this.
Oh, you literally moved to a different apartment because of that comment? Really?
Dude, a 2-bedroom. Literally, not because she said, but I mean, it's so. Can you see? So yeah,
I'm right by the kitchen. I like it. All right.
Just moved this week. Yeah, she'll bitch about that next time I do it. But it was like, I'm sorry I didn't dedicate my life to collecting things.
What do you want? It's a Zoom show. We're all trying to figure it out on the fly. You know what I mean? None of us was prepared to do a show from our house a year ago.
That was her complaint. And the fact that I made fun of the fact that they had me doing, I made fun of the fact that they sent me a bartending kit. There was like 200 and something people on the Zoom call. It was like, they sent me a mixology kit. You ever done one of those?
No.
No, that's what they wanted me to do. And I was like, so my first joke was, I'm here because I'm not famous and because this company's too cheap to afford a bartender. And
oh, that might have set off.
It's a $1 billion company, and I was like, obviously, they have the money. It's an obvious joke, and I read her the joke before I did it. Sorry, we're digressing, but I mean, this is. So yeah, I wanted to take more.
I like it. Thanks. Because I wouldn't stand for that. I wouldn't stand for that, you doing the show from your bedroom, because I don't know if you can see the dresser behind me. I'm in my bedroom right now. So.
Oh, no, I love the condom on the microphone. I love all this stuff.
Thanks, man. I try to add little bits where I can to make it cool. Like, you know, I got a Paul Stanley bobblehead back there. There's little things I do that I try to spice it up to make it cool.
Okay, there we go. Nice. With the fan, I like it.
Yeah, I like the fan. Yeah, I had the fan on the other day, but then I realized you could hear it. So when I was editing the show the next day, I go, "What's that noise?" I go, "Oh, it's the fan."
This is the laundry room. I had towels. I had towels. I just got towels, and I was like, I'm definitely washing these. And I put them in. I was like, oh shit! I have no idea how long this goes. Like 5 minutes before, they're in there right now. It's killing me that I can't put them in the dryer, but it's all for you, baby. It's all for
thank you, man. I appreciate the commitment. That's the best.
My towels. Happy Diet Coke to everybody. Anybody's
Thanks,
drinking.
man. I got a little iced coffee myself. All
So
right,
what's new, dude?
Nothing. So you're back in Vegas now, right?
Yeah, I'm back here. I don't have anything until you and I go to Encore.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited. That is Alaska. That's gonna be great. It's the best run ever. I'll take that every time.
Oh, I'm so excited. We can't visit Canada because Canada doesn't want us. But
fuck them. I can live without Victoria Island. You know what I mean? Spend more time in Skagway. I love Skagway. Ketchikan. Those are great places to go.
There was one called Haynes that we used to go to. Did you ever go to Haynes?
No.
There was a place called Haynes, and I saw a pickup truck skid while I was there, and I was like, "You guys got skid marks on your Haynes," and that was a stupid ass joke I did for like a month. But they had been there. There, so it's stupid to us. But they had just off the town of Haynes, and I was like, "They got skid on their Haynes," and
did it crush?
Stupid, yeah.
Crushed every time, right?
Crushed all the time.
Dude, you're a genius. Get it? What he did with the skid mark and the Haynes?
Right? You saw bears in a glacier today. Did you just see what he did? The skid marks?
But he did like an underwear joke. That's hilarious. That's really cool. That's
hey, we were on a Norwegian ship when that guy had a heart attack during my first show.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about that today. It was you and I met.
Oh God, that's right. Cody Dove was down there with us too, wasn't Cody Dove there?
Yeah, Cody was there, and Don No, not Don Barnhart.
Doug McCraw, maybe? Doug McCraw, I think, right? Doug McCraw, right?
And literally, you and I had basically just said, "Hey, how's it going?" It's like, "Spence, nice to meet you. You know, hopefully we get together." And then I'm on stage. Cody gets off, and literally, like 3 minutes into my set, this guy just collapses and is shaking, and he's having a heart attack on the ground. And I'm like, That's never happened. That's never happened before. You know what I mean? And so that was, and then I had to do the rest of the show.
Dude, I love the best part was watching you get back into your act. That was the best, because the whole time when the guy has the heart attack, you're on stage the whole time with the microphone in your hand. So they run and they check on. I mean, it's like in the middle of your show, and then you're talking to the guy to the side, you're talking to the people, for a while it got weird because there's you on stage with your microphone.
It's like, can we leave? Can we end now? Like, this is, and then they escort him out. Thank God he was okay, and he sent me that nice end. He said, I really enjoyed your show, and he had some jokes about it, which was funny. And so I read that later again. But at the time, when they escort him out, I think I was looking at you like, what the fuck am I?
Yeah. Because we were off stage, right, in that little side room or whatever.
Yeah, and it was like, all right, joke time.
And you do that thing like anytime something weird happens in a room, you kind of kill time for like a minute or two till everybody gets their shit together or whatever. But this lasted a while. This is like, this is a long time. And after a while, you're like, I don't know what to do now. I don't know what
For us, when you're up there. I don't know how many people do comedy that are watching this or whatever, but when you're up there, like, anytime somebody says they want to try stand-up comedy, you know what I do? This is like, at Comedy Works in Denver for New Talent Night, they would give us 2 minutes. That's all they would give you. And people would always be, oh my God, 2 minutes? What can you do in 2 minutes? I'm like, yeah, this is how long it takes in comedy. Let's just sit here and not say anything and look at each other for 10 seconds.
Yeah, right.
And that's what we would do. And so that's extremely uncomfortable. So in that scenario, when I'm up there and it's just so excruciating with every second, and it's like much worse for the guy having a heart attack. I agree. But I mean,
probably. Probably. Maybe.
I feel like a dick now. I'm sitting here bemoaning what I had to do. And I was like, this guy just got wheeled out of here.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's a long time to be standing up there with not a lot to do. Well, my first set was like 4 minutes long, and I went into it thinking 4 minutes, that's nothing, And then like a couple of minutes, and I was like, fuck, this is a long time. And my first time on stage, I did really, really well. Like I did great well, like so well that I thought, I'm like, oh my God, this is it. I could quit my job. This is easy. And then I sucked for 2 weeks. Then I couldn't get another good show for almost 2.5 weeks. Everywhere I went, it was a nightmare.
Every time I hit some new peak of confidence, something brought me right back down. It was like that corporate show. I still don't learn. It's like that Zoom corporate show. It was like, man, I'm getting good at this. And then somebody, why'd you do it from your bedroom? I'm like, look, bitch, okay, I don't. And the first time I did comedy, it did not go well. My first joke ever. Do you remember your first joke on stage?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it almost word for word. It was not really a joke. It was an observation. And I actually thought about it because I watched Oprah during the day. And this is a long time ago, obviously. It's like 32 years. This is when I started. How long I've been around? 32 years. But the premise of the Oprah show was people that have more confidence when they dress up like superheroes. So they had people on the show. This is early when Oprah was doing stupid shit. Remember early on that Oprah did a lot of stupid, like, serious.
This is Oprah.
No, this was Oprah. At the beginning, Oprah did Jerry Springer type shit. And then changed after like a year or two, or once she got some power. You know what I mean? She did her own thing. But this show was people that have more confidence dressed up as superheroes. And they interviewed a guy dressed as Batman, and a guy dressed as Superman, and a girl dressed as Wonder Woman. And I watched the show. So my opening joke was, so I'm watching this Oprah show. I go, so let me get this straight. I go, this guy can't look you face to face and ask for a cup of coffee, but he can put on a mask and go into a restaurant and have no problem ordering a steak. And that was the opening joke. And it didn't get a laugh, right? It got kind of a chuckle. But then after that, I got into other stuff that I ended up winning. There's one joke from that act that I still do, kind of.
Which one?
My mom grounded me and took my Van Halen tickets away from me, and then she went to the concert. And for weeks, my friends would call me on the phone going, hey, Lenny, hey, put your mom on, will you? so that one's still in the act. Yeah.
I have one that's more of an observation than a joke that I still do from the first time. It was a guy chastised me for it, actually, because he thought I was just doing it was about a guy in a wheelchair at Home Depot, and he was buying a ladder. And I remember that happening. I mean, I was a cart pusher at Home Depot when I was going to school, and I was at will call. If you ever go to Home Depot, it's that will call area. And so you're kind of out like on the side of the store, you know, with everybody. And me and the cashier were just kind of sitting there. And then he went to the other cashier, and he was like wheeling it, and he dragged the ladder. I'm sitting there losing my shit. I'm like, does anybody fucking see this? Like, what is happening right now?
Right.
And she's like, what's this guy in a wheelchair behind a ladder? And then he winked at me, and I was like, this guy is hilarious. I don't know what his deal is. And I still use that story to this day. I remember my first joke was an observation too, but it was an observation in the crowd. I knew what I wanted to do. I said, introduce me as this is my first time ever on stage. And he did that, and then I went on stage and I said, it's my first time on stage, so I'm a little nervous. But they say if you're nervous, you should picture the audience naked. So if you all would just give me a second. And there was this woman in the front row, and she had on like a very revealing outfit for her breasts, for her breastises.
Her breastises?
And I just stared at her. I said, okay, I'm better now. I'll do the joke. And then I proceeded to bomb every joke. And every time I bombed the joke, I would do this. So it'd be silence. And that did really well for like 60 seconds. And then where I first started was a place where they gave you 5 minutes. And so after 2 minutes, I was just eating a slow death until the very end. So that was a success, but I'm sure I didn't deliver it as good as I'm even delivering it right now. So it's weird when you start, right? I mean, what's your style of stand-up, Lenny? If someone comes to you and they say, okay, you do stand-up comedy, what's the Lenny show? Like, how do you define that in like an elevator pitch to somebody?
I always say it's first-person observational storytelling about my life. That's how I put it.
Isn't that all of us?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, for the most part. But no.
Lenny, wait.
It is most of us, but some of us at the time when I came up with that description, a lot of people did jokes, and a lot of people did political stuff, and I don't do any. of that stuff.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? So now comedy has evolved to where so many people, almost everybody, does first-person observational story stuff.
Got it.
So
Got it.
But and then I just say I pretty much talk about everything on stage every stupid thing I did, and everything I did anything that's ever made me mad, or every mistake I made. That's what I talk about on stage, and I just blow it out of proportion. So, but it's the same. It's the type of comedy I wanted to do when I started out. I always wanted to make fun of life, and that's what I want to do, and that's what I keep doing.
Yeah.
And especially, no, I've been thinking about it more because actually I had this conversation with my daughter the other day because. I mean, things opened up here now, so I'm getting spots around town. I'm getting up and I'm doing stuff, and I'm trying to focus on I got into this routine during COVID when I was doing Zoom shows, and I do a lot of live shows for Patreon members. And I have, stuff I do on the internet, anything I do online streaming, and anything I did writing wise. I would talk about COVID, and I would talk about the way COVID was handled by both sides politically, like left or right, and I would talk about the closing. I mean, I talked so much about COVID that I got away from what my number one rule of comedy always was. I always looked at comedy shows as an escape. Like, I never spent a lot of time talking about politics and about opinions and who was right or wrong. And I think Trump had a big effect on that too, because when Trump got into office, that became such a polarizing thing. And especially in L.A., all anybody ever talked about was Trump. I mean, I hate him, blah, blah, I hate him. And I never talked about politics before Trump. And then I started to do it more, and I did it too. I think it happened more when I was home doing COVID. Because what? What'd you say?
I said because you liked him.
Sure. I'm a big Trumper. Don't you see my Trump Make America Great bobblehead?
All right.
But recently I'm trying to focus now. The material, everything I'm doing now, I'm trying to get away from anything that I think comedy, for me, comedy was always an escape. You know what I mean? You go out. You want to have fun, you want to enjoy yourself. And it's like, for me to talk about how they handled COVID, or do we have to wear a mask, shouldn't we wear a mask? And I especially think now that a lot of people maybe don't want to hear about how COVID was handled.
No. Like, Trump is starting, I've been able to get on stage not quite a bit, but a handful of times here in Las Vegas. And there's a situation in my show where I say that you can but you can get two basically 2 illegal immigrants instead of 1. The premise of the joke or whatever it is, that's basically what it is. And I was like, you can get 2. You can get 2 of them. I checked with Trump before he left. You can get 2. And it's just that little line at the very end. And when I first started adding that line,
right,
it doesn't mean anything. It's left and right. It doesn't. That's just a neutral. For
right.
me, it doesn't. For me, it doesn't. It doesn't. Basically, it doesn't. I don't even know if it makes sense. But at first, it was very like, oh, you said his word. Did you speak negative about him? I'm like, nope, that didn't happen. And now it's softened a little bit where you don't have that as much. There's
Right.
still people that, oh, it's like a boogeyman. Like it's like, but it's just not necessary in a comedy room. It's not necessary in a comedy show for anybody to like. I don't say it one way or the other, but still saying the name for some reason just. There's vitriol. There's still very passionate things on both sides, but it's diminishing, which is nice. I don't have any headaches when I wake up anymore. Like I don't have fights with. I don't check Twitter. I don't like. I'm like, if I don't hear from Biden, I'm good. Like
Yeah.
he spoke at like the Super Bowl or something. Like he had an address, and I was like, no, just shut up. Everybody needs a break. Nobody wants to see you. Nobody wants to hear from you. Just do your work.
Yeah.
Just put your head down and go to work.
You put your head down. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be, that they just do this, and you know what I mean. And they're like a side note. Like I know things are going Things are going pretty well right now. The country's opening up. We're going out. We're doing stuff again. And I don't care if you're left or right. Things seem to be going pretty well right now. And I watch I watch Fox News. I watch all the news channels. I try to bounce back and forth. But Fox can't, like, when Trump was in office, all you saw on CNN and MSNBC was anti-Trump. Every segment was attack Trump. And Fox kind of did the same thing with Obama, but with Biden, they don't have a whole lot to complain about. They do old man a lot. They do he's losing his faculties. And I saw a show a few weeks ago where they made fun of his sunglasses. And I'm like, really? That's what you got? You got his sunglasses? That's all you can find is sunglasses at this point?
Yeah, man. I don't. It's nice to just take a break. It's nice to just take a break from it. So it's been. I think yours and mine's style of stand up is similar, where it's more conversational.
Yeah.
I like going to the audience and coming back out. That would be the only thing that I do a little bit that I don't see as many people doing. But yeah, when that whole thing was going on, it's nice just to get on and write and try new stuff. It takes some work getting the muscle back so I've been doing old stuff a lot because we still do it in spurts. I don't know what it has been like for you, but like that, you get a week of shows at Brad's at the MGM, right? And then after that, you don't perform again for a month or whatever it is. And so it's like, all right, I got my legs back by the 7th, 12th, 13th show. I feel good, and it comes back relatively quickly, I think, after you've been doing it for so long. But then after that, you got another 3 or 4 weeks and you're like, well, it's not like you can just go on stage every night or you're not on a ship every night performing, so you can't work out material.
That's where you really miss it, I think, is the ship, because I got used to the ship. We're doing maybe somewhere between 9 to 12 shows a week on a ship. So if you got a heavy run, you're performing a lot. So you're so in touch with all your material because you want to turn a lot of stuff over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got a lot of different people there, so you could bring up, you remember everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now it's almost like when you kind of like when you not when you started out, but when you started working kind of regularly. Like when if you started working as a feature, I would get a feature week or two and then be off for like a month. Yeah. And so now it's about filling the calendar, and you just try to fill the calendar wherever you can. But the good thing now is at least you get back on your legs quicker. But I did Tulsa 2 weeks ago, and then I came back here, and then things open up here. So I did a show last week at Flappers, and I'm doing a show tonight, and then I go to Chicago next in a week and a half.
I don't know, man. I was all in on the cruises right when this started. So I was in that one bedroom. I was gonna buy a house, and just financially, when you get to,
I know.
it's just financially you get to a certain extent, and you're like, okay, cool.
Dude, you were right there. You were right at buy house moment, right when the shit hit the fan. Yeah.
Yeah, I was I took a flight right before I was in Ohio visiting my lady, and then I took a flight to Vegas to look at a couple of houses right before I got on the ship, and I knew I was going to be off all of April. And I took off all of April so that I could buy a ship. April of last year, 2020? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, April of last year, 2020. And that's when...
Great. Tell me, so you didn't lose work right at the beginning?
No,
you know
I was on a ship when this started. Yeah, I was on a Carnival ship. I was on there with another comic, and I thought that was funny. As far as not bringing stuff up in your act or like what you do, I remember it had just started. COVID had just started. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do, and he comes over to me and it's like, we didn't know if we were going to get off the ship. We didn't know if we were going to stay. Like, we're going to head back real quick, but it was still a packed audience. And it was our last show, and he comes over and he goes, hey, the cruise director just came and told us, like, we can't talk about COVID. Can you believe that? Like, we can't talk about what's happening right now in the United States and COVID. He doesn't want us bringing it up. Can you believe that? And I go, yeah, it's not going to be a problem. And he's like, not a problem. And I go, I've never talked about that before in my act, so I don't know why. It's like he saw no ability not to say it. And then he went on stage and he like hinted around it and then just said it. And I was like,
I don't see. I don't understand that mentality, because I could go up there and I could go up there and not talk about it. Well, also there was a thing early on during the Trump presidency that some of the lines came out and told us not to do anything political or anything about Trump, and especially during PG shows like a family show. We heard that in Carnival. There was an email that I got a letter in Norwegian when I got on, and then I got an email in Carnival that said don't talk about Trump.
Interesting.
And and some of those ships where you would, like you said earlier, if you just said Trump, you got booed, and not by anti-Trump people, by Trump people, because they were like, don't you bag on the president, and you're like, I didn't bag on anybody, I just said Trump.
I had a joke at one point where I was like, I think it was a couple years ago. I was working it out, but it dove too far into. It was a weird pause because I go, I think Trump's actually doing. It was just a different take on it, so you gotta let me get through the whole thing. But I go, I think Trump is honestly doing a lot better than I imagined than he would be at this point. Because I thought we would be and then that was the pause, and people were like, what? And I'm like, I thought we'd be in nuclear war. I thought we would be in, a Great Depression. I mean, he's right next to the football, so he has the buttons. If he just wants to start pushing buttons, he can start pushing buttons. And it's like he's more like a 6-year-old. Like, he wants to build a space army. He wants to build walls. Like, he's more just like if we just let him, just give him his toys and just leave him over there. And so it was like he's not doing that bad. Compared to where I thought we would be by the end of his term. And so, I did a deep dive. I don't know, this doesn't all need to be political, but I did a deep dive into like, what are the good things that he's done? So I went into that. He's veterans, as far as the red tape, as far as getting them benefits. That's the thing that I kept coming across, was that he helped a lot of veterans still receive benefits. A lot of people talk about his foreign relations and his peacekeeping as far as the Middle East, and a couple of negotiations that he made there were good. These are just a couple of positives that I could take from it. Everyone's talked about, I know all the negatives too, and I just try to learn both sides of an argument, so that when anybody comes to me and they go, Trump's a piece of shit, I'm like, why do you think that? And I'm like, well, it just is. I'm like, well, I'd rather you have some research, so that when you come across somebody that loves Trump, that you could point that out. I don't like willful ignorance. I hate willful ignorance.
I'm with you 100%, but that's why it's so weird now, because people don't nobody likes to exchange information. People just want to be fucking right. They just want to be right.
I don't understand why politics and religion are like, you never talk about politics and religion. Like, fuck that. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
What's the with that? We can't progress as a society or as a human race by avoiding issues. What the
Plus, you're not gonna. You understand how other people are thinking if you talk to them and hear what their point of view are. Also, you can find a way to communicate with them. Let's say they are wrong or whatever. You can find a way you can find a way to convince someone or get through to someone, but only by exchanging interview. At some point, someone's got to go. That's a pretty good point. You know what I mean? So, every once in a while you listen, you go, that's good. Like I've been like that. I listen to everything. There's been plenty of times in my life where I go, shit, you're right. I'm way off on that. My bad.
Dude, I've been corrected. I remember I was talking about guns. There's a friend of mine who's a Democrat. He's a liberal Democrat in California, and he's a gun owner, and he's very much about guns. And so there's a specific group for Democrats who enjoy guns, right? So he's part of that. And I said something off the cuff when we were talking. I was like, yeah, there's like 100,000 deaths every year by handguns. And he's like, where did you get that information from? And I go, oh, I read it. And he goes, let's look at it. Let's find out where it is. And I go, okay. And I don't know where I got that from. And I was speaking out of pocket. This is like 5 or 6, this is probably more than that, probably 6, 7 years ago. And then he goes, it's actually 30,000 deaths every year by handguns, which is still not good. That's
right.
Still not good. But when you look at the overall population, we're at 325 million in the United States, and it's 30,000. It's like, oh, okay, I can't believe it's only 30,000. But then you dive into how many are suicides, and that's 20,000. 20,000. So there's only 10,000 homicidal or accidental deaths by handguns that happen every year, which is still a lot. That's not, I'm not a proponent of, I don't have a gun or anything like that, but it's
is that including police interactions? Like law enforcement?
I don't know. I assume so. It was on NRA. It was on PBS. We found it in several different locations. I think FBI had it on a website somewhere. So we found it in multiple locations where it said about 30,000. And then I was watching The West Wing, and The West Wing said 30,000 too.
So you were backed up by network TV. Good for you, buddy. See.
He found it, and it was a deep dive that we did and found it. And then we found that suicides were 2/3. And so that's all I try to stick to is the numbers. Is like, okay, because when he did that, I was like blown away, and I was like, I can't be preaching this ignorant stuff. So usually I find that people vote for one thing that they believe in, right? There's usually one core thing that if you dive down deep enough, that's why they're voting for. Because you don't personally know Biden, you don't personally know Trump. There's usually something that you're voting for that one of them represent.
Right.
So whether it be larger military or abortion was a big one that my brother voted about. And here's the funny thing about that. I didn't know anything about abortion or death rates. And so that was his big thing. And he got teary-eyed about abortion. He's like, it's 1 million and something, 1.8 million deaths or something like that every year. And I was like, I don't know anything about this, but I'll look into it. And did you know, Lenny, that there's more by a significant margin? I have the stats. I'll send them to you later. But it's with a Republican president, there are significant more abortions than there is when a Democratic president is in office. Did you know that?
No, of course not. I didn't know that.
And I'm talking about like Clinton, Obama. It was like 2%, 4%, something like that. And then it was in double digits for every single Republican president. So regardless of where those numbers come from or why they're there, you have to agree that you cannot vote based off of that one topic for president. Just by that simple stat alone, right?
Yeah.
You can't vote for a president if that's your only criteria that you're going off of. There has to be other reasons, whether he's appointing other judges, and you do a dive into that. But it's still the overall number of abortions raises when you have a Republican president, which is blew my mind.
Right.
And I told him about it. I was like, hey, what do you think of this? And he never got back to me. And we don't talk.
We don't talk. We're done talking.
So I agree with you, man. As far as it's felt like this got depressing. Is anybody still watching this?
Yeah,
like,
we've covered. See, we started the show. I don't know if you caught tornadoes and death and blowing up. Now we're talking about abortion. Yeah, this is the darkest podcast I've ever done. This is perfect.
I'm so sorry, but they're still like.
There's still people watching. In fact, let's go to the board. I'm going to go to the board, man. Actually, let's do that. I have people that watch the show all the time. Sometimes they have questions, so let me see if they have. I know there are a couple questions here for you. Let me see if I can find one. Okay. You'll appreciate this. Okay, here's Brenda Runyon, who I mentioned earlier. She's one of my Patreon members. She watches it all the time. She says, Spencer, you should get a green screen. That way you can put anything behind you.
You don't like this?
I think she's trying to help you out with the laundromat thing. I think she was.
Oh,
Right.
with the bedroom. The fact that she said the bedroom. But the bitch of it was, I asked that lady, I said, it looked really nice inside the bedroom. Like, it was really nice. Everything was, like, perpendicular and everything. Like, I put a lot of effort into,
Sure.
you know.
It's not just right. Well, I did early on. You know what I did early on? I don't know if you've ever seen any of those shows. I have orange glitter, like a sparkly stage.
I have.
Yeah. So when I do anytime I do a Zoom stand up or anything like that, like the podcast, I don't care. I just do it from here. But like I'll use the orange backdrop for shows. For any Zoom thing I ever did, I use that orange thing, and I lay it out. I bought racks. You know, I did all kinds of stuff. So that's
Yeah,
what
I think
I couldn't afford. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I couldn't afford to move like you did, but then I realized I did move during COVID because I needed more space. Yeah, because I used to. Yeah, early. Oh, yeah, because you were supposed to be on the show before. I remember. Shit, you were in town. You were here. Yeah, you were in town. You were going to be on the show, and I canceled that week.
Everybody wants to fucking tune in right now. Let's talk about that.
Okay. All right.
During COVID, I was supposed to come to California and do this dickhead's. And so I positioned like 3 things around that week. And I'm going out there, and I think it's like 2 days before. Lenny's like, this isn't going to work, Spence. And I was like, why isn't this going to work? He goes, I have to move. And I'm like, how the fuck does that get sprung on you? Like, and so then I felt like a dickhead friend because my girlfriend was like, honey, because I was mad. I was like, oh, I gotta drive out. I'm already driving out there. I'm already there. And that's why I came. And she's like, I love you to death. I knew that something was going on. I didn't want to ask. And he's getting evicted. I was like, yeah, no one would admit to that, I guess. Like, it's like, but when you brought up, like, something, I was sick with COVID. I got exposed. I mean, there were so many things that you could have said. Yeah. And you're like, I'm moving. And I was like, what the? What's coming. No,
I didn't really that much. I'm trying to walk my way out. I had to. I didn't get evicted, but I lived across the street, and the landlord that owns that building owns this building, and he came to me, and at this time both daughters were living with me across the street, and I was in a 1-bedroom, and he was like, "Hey, I got an apartment across the street that's open, but it's open in a couple of weeks," and I go, "Well, let me take a look at it," and I looked at it, and my problem is I go, yeah, I can handle that. I can handle moving on the show and all this other shit. And then as it gets closer, I go, I can't do all this. I completely over. That week was a shit show.
Because my lady got in on here in Vegas, and I moved from one apartment to the other in the same complex. Okay. And I went from, I basically was sharing a 2-bedroom with a roommate. And then COVID hit, and I was gone 90% of the time, so I was a great roommate for him.
Sure.
And then I had to stay in next to him for a year. Great guy. Everybody always does this when they're about to like talk shit.
They build up. He's a great guy.
No, I posted on my Instagram about him. His name's Al. He's a wonderful dude. But there's just little things that 2 people in the same place, like if you're going to be rooming with someone, you know that. You got 2 daughters. I mean,
tell me about it.
I can imagine how difficult that is. And it wasn't extreme shit. He was always great about, like, I was never home, so he'd get the mail, he'd get the packages if I had something that came in. And for us being gone on the road so often, I'm sure you lean on your daughters a little bit to be like, hey, Daddy ordered something. Go, be on the lookout.
Sure.
Don't leave it on.
Yeah.
So he was great for that, but after being there for a year, I mean, there's funny things about being with a roommate, of course. I was trying to create a studio, and that was the main reason to have a second bedroom, was so that I could have a photo and a video studio, right? Because I'm trying to do this footage and editing thing. Yeah. And so I had to move in order to have the space available, but I created the living room into a photo studio with like 3 backdrops, the paper, the whole 9 yards. And then one night he had a date, and they kept walking back and forth as I was doing a photo shoot. And I was like, I remember just standing there with my head down, holding my camera, where I'm at in life, and going, I gotta move.
This is not working out. This is just not working out.
I feel bad, and then I gotta fucking walking back and forth, and it's always on dates. I can't go outside. So and the moving thing, I totally get it, man. Because she got here on Wednesday. Thursday, we were supposed to get the keys, and they didn't have it renovated yet. And then Friday, they gave us the keys. And I'm telling you, Lenny, I was like, we got to get out by Sunday. And you don't realize how much shit you have until you start moving.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Thank you. That's what happened that week. Even me. And I spent years doing this. I got into this minimalist thing where I got rid of all my shit. You know, I don't have anything because I travel so much. I'm like, I don't need any stuff.
There you go. I bought glassware, and people are like, what do you mean you never bought glassware? I'm like, I'm sorry. I dedicated myself to a dream for 15 years. I apologize.
No, before Anna moved in, I had 2 spoons in my kitchen. 2 spoons. You know, I got rid of a bunch of shit. I dated a girl that was really into this minimalist shit, and I jumped all over it. I go, this is a great idea, and I got rid of all my stuff.
Look at these spoons. I just bought these.
Oh,
these
like those.
They're just curved weird.
I like them. That's good.
The Star Trek. Like,
yeah, I was going to say Star Trek. I was just going to say that. It looks like something out of Star Trek.
Every time, I'm like, this is when I eat cereal, I'm like, the Enterprise.
Yeah.
I have battles with Klingons and shit. Like, it's like,
dude, that's the best.
Warp speed. Like, these spoons, me and the girl saw them. We were like, we got to get these. So
Does she live with you now? Did she move out from Ohio?
No, Christy. Have you met Christy?
I have not.
She lives
I hear about her all the time. Because you were just
sweet.
There not too long ago. You were there. You spent a lot of time in Ohio.
I do. How much should I tell you of this story? I don't need to tell you the whole story. We'll do that another time. But she's got 2 kids. I thought she was younger than me when we first met. She's a beautiful, beautiful soul, and she's coming out here in 2 years after the kids are said and done, after they're gone. So people are like, how do you do long distance? And I'm like, we're comics. It doesn't matter where you live. It's always going to be long distance. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm on a ship, or we were on cruises for weeks at a time. And so then I'd have like 3 days or 4 days off or a week off. And I'm like, well, I'll just go see her. But most of the time we're away anyway. So anything with me, at least, and I assume with you, is going to be long distance. So it didn't matter.
Yeah, I always had a hard time with that long distance thing, only from this aspect. I was hoping kind of during COVID, well, whatever, hoping. I thought if there was ever a chance for me to meet someone, it would be during this year. Because my thing was, I'm okay with long distance. I would prefer that whoever I'm dating lives in the same city I do. So then when I travel and I come home, she's near my home where I'm at. Otherwise, I got to travel to see her. And at the time, I was also traveling to see my kids. So it was just too much. So that third aspect of it, the traveling to see a girlfriend, just became hard for me. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Sure. Did you meet anybody in COVID?
No. I dated a couple. Plus dating, I also, you know what?
If you had met someone, that was this dickhead friend being like, hey, did you meet someone? And you'd be like, you avoided that. You avoided saying that, so I'm so sorry.
No, don't. Yeah, but one thing I did learn during the last COVID is I forgot how awkward and shitty it is to date in LA. That's something that came back to me pretty quick.
Well, how do you date in LA when everything's shut down?
That's that's part of it. First of all, COVID didn't make it any easier because nobody wants to go. I was on Tinder and shit, but everyone on Tinder's like, well, I'm here. We'll see what happens. I knew some people that started kind of dating digitally, you know what I mean? Where they just met online and they built a relationship through Zoom. That seemed weird to me. Maybe I'm juvenile, but that just seemed weird to me.
Well, I guess I'll tell you this. Me and Christy started as a throuple.
Oh, right. Oh, you did tell me this.
Okay. There was me, her, and Deanna. And somehow all 3 of us were like, let's all do this together. And we were like, okay. And it started out long distance. I mean, it was all of us talking on the phone, texting, however you can on the ship. Right. And so me and Christy liked that dynamic. Deanna, after 7 or 8 months, it didn't work. It didn't work for everybody, but it was, but no hard feelings. But Christy liked the dynamic, especially with me being gone all the time. So I don't know. I was explaining it to the barber the other today. It's like, it's a team, man. You got like a team of people that are, pushing you forward. you know? So we would try to find, we did that a little bit during COVID. Same thing you're doing as far as Tinder and things like that, and trying to find someone that would be interested in being a part of, you know, something like that. So, and that was hard. I don't know what you do. I don't know how you find someone.
I don't know now, and now I'm getting ready to go back and travel again. And I'll be honest with you, my best options. That sounds shitty. I say options. The women I met that I was most interested in live in New York, and that drove me fucking crazy. Where I was like, I can't believe you're in New York. And then COVID started, and I'm here, and you know what I mean. And then she's like there, and you're like, I go, it's just you couldn't be farther away, L.A. and New York. And you know, it just I don't know. It seems to me that it would be easier for me if someone I dated or was in a relationship with at least lived in the city that I was based in. That seems like that would help me. Maybe
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know, man. Like I said, we travel a lot. So when you're off the ship, now granted, I have this apartment now that I enjoy coming to, and I walk around naked in. It's fun. You know, without without someone being.
Thank you for doing that today for the show. I appreciate that because we are live on the internet.
I was thinking about it.
And I would have to put this not on YouTube, but YouPorn. I would have to do it.
No, OnlyFans.
I could do OnlyFans, sure.
Just two white, pale, naked guys talking to each other.
Yeah, I'm sure we would draw a lot. We'd draw, a lot of hits, a lot of clicks.
And then, but, you know, I think you got to branch out a little bit, dude. I'd be interested to see if anybody in the comments, like I said, I can't see if people are watching this.
Let's go back to the comments. Most of these people in these comments, most of them, though, are all married. There's a lot of married couples. Hang on. Well, Brenda said that Myrtle, the character she does, is willing to travel, and she wants to know if I like cats. But she's a callback to our video.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's married to Keith, so that's you know what I mean. All my Patreon members, my followers are married. Literally, husbands and wives are on here together. It's like Tammy and Vince are on here together.
How kinky those people are. You're gonna be surprised how freaky these people are.
Dude, I don't know if I want to have a threesome with the Mulligans or the Runnions. I don't know if we should.
I didn't throw out names, but maybe they might.
They know who they are. They know who they are. Okay.
You've never been approached by a couple to join in?
Oh, I've
Lenny?
been approached by a couple many times to do the once you come on in. I never thought that was a good idea. It always seemed to me borderline trouble.
It's always the first question, though, if that ever happens. It's always the first question. You do comedy, you get off stage, people think that, like, oh, yeah, we know you. Oh, you know, we can trust you. And with us, but with other people, you know. Yeah. But there's degenerates in this. But there's, it's always that first question, though. It's always, you want to join us? And it's like, do I have to touch him?
Yeah.
Or
what do you mean join? Can you be more specific with join?
I've never done.
I've had a couple where I'm like, what is that entitled? Is there going to be any male on male contact? And I've had a couple times where the wife has said, yeah, there's got to be because we're all going to be together. And I go, well, then I can't. That doesn't work for me. That's not my thing.
She said that how obvious that was. Like, oh, well, of course.
Yeah, like I was stupid. Like, yes, dude. Why would I have you over if you weren't going to stick your tongue in my husband's ass? I don't know why that wouldn't happen.
I've been trying not to go to that shit. How long doing on this? And now we tell everybody to fast forward from now on. Just go. There's a tongue in another guy's ass that Lenny says. We talk about it at minute whatever. You just need to fast forward to that part.
Wait, now the Mulligans are trying to talk me into having a threesome with them.
I told you.
Tammy said, wait, you don't want to? Please, you know you want to.
What a great last name, Mulligan. If you ever
I love Mulligan. And Vince Mulligan looks like a Mulligan. I mean, he looks like 100%. I wish I had a picture I could show you. Huh?
A Mulligan is a redo. He looks like a redo.
I didn't even think about that. It is. I'm going to take a Mulligan on this one.
That's all I thought of as a mulligan in golf. That's why I said if he premature ejaculates. What a great name. What a great name to have. They're like, oh shit. I mean, but you should have expected this.
You should have known. My name's Mulligan. How are you not aware that you're going to want to do over here?
And I can't believe that's never been brought up as far as the mulligans, but I bet they're serious. I bet.
Well, we never discussed the threesome before, and it came up. Now it came up. Now it's now
Now-
everybody. Now I have more likes and followers. I don't know what happened all of a sudden. My numbers are going
Join
up.
what the stipulations are. Mulligans, what's the stipulations?
What are the rules, man? Let's get some ground rules.
Rules. If they are serious, they have rules. They've discussed the rules.
Oh, wow! Keith is a perv. Vince said something about. Yeah, wow. Okay, Vince said something about tongue. Yeah, I think they're working out the rules now. I think they're sitting down and working out some rules.
Is Vince one of the mulligans?
No, I didn't see the spoon comment. Hold on. Brendan made a spoon comment. I can't keep up with these comments. I do everything here, by the way, Spencer. I produce the show and watch the thing. I'm running the video. I'm an anomaly. I'm insane. I'm really good at this. Wait, let me backtrack.
There, work. You can do something.
Wonder Woman.
I don't know what you do.
There's a spoon comment, and I missed it. I'm looking for it.
Can they just rewrite it?
Yeah, you could, Brenda, rewrite the spoon comment. Help me out. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Say, hey, go back and find the spoon comment. Like, what do I look like here?
Like she wrote it and then shoved her keyboard. Like,
She's offended. She's like mad. She's like, I put a spoon comment in. Would you please go back and find it?
hilarious. Like she wrote it and then threw her keyboard across the room. Landry had good shit today. Did you know Landry?
Yeah.
From Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah. Landry had his dry bar. He's getting his views on his dry bar.
Yeah.
Right? Is yours come out?
No, I only shot it in March. It won't be out till toward the end of the year.
Oh, okay. Keep posted because out of everybody that's watching right now, this will go gangbusters once that drops. So,
right.
Dry Bar Comedy, if nobody sees it, I'm on it. Landry's
you got
on
one. I know you got one. Right.
but they're great. Landry's is getting his views now, and so the comments start coming. Right? It's on Facebook, and people start to comment. And he sent me one. He screenshotted one and sent me. There's negative comments too. Sure. And this lady commented negatively, and then Landry responded. To me, I like to respond to criticism from those with like thankful help. You know, like when they're like, "Oh, this is shit. This wasn't even funny." I'm like, if you could elaborate, I would appreciate it. Like that's. Anytime someone tries to troll me,
is it possible you could write down bullet points for me to go back over?
Those are the best. I'm like, I don't know who you are, but you sound intelligent. If you could please, like, why would you do that? Why would you halfway help me? Like, I that's the part. I just dive into their world. I just dive in. And sometimes, like, someone wrote shit, and it's like a clean Christian thing. So I'm like, you probably should. But I was like, helpful. Like, these are the things that I'll come. It's so much fun. The good ones are great. I responded to all those, but the negative ones. Well, Landry did a deep dive and responded, and it was really well worded and all this stuff. She was questioning his intelligence because of the joke. And so he took that, and he wrote back, and he commented back at her, and it was a great response. And then she commented underneath that and goes, well, she says something like, I'm not afraid to share my opinion on somebody's comedy. And then she said this other shit. And I was like, afraid to share your opinion? It's Facebook. Like, was somebody beating the shit out of you as you tried to crawl to the computer? I'm not afraid to share my thoughts. It's like, all right, did someone beat the fuck out of you when you tried to do that the first time? Like,
yeah, that's no big victory anymore. You know what I mean? There's no big victory in making a comment online negative about something you watch. It's like, you know what I mean? You're not breaking ground by, like, I'm going to take a stand. I'm going to type in exactly what I think. Wow, that's out of the box.
Right here, right now, I'm sending this.
All right, I found the spoon comment. Hold on. It says that's pretty good, actually. Brenda wrote this is good. Spencer, that spoon, huh?
That shit, it better be good. You look.
I'm impressed with it. I like it. Brenda wrote it. Spencer, that spoon is to go where no man has gone before.
Pretty good.
Yeah, this is a sexual reference in there. Undertow. Yeah, it's right back to the ass thing, right?
Is that a mullet?
Yeah, that's good work, Brenda. Very good work. Really impressed. Brenda's batting 1,000 this week. She's doing great.
I like it.
Yeah,
no,
I'm
so
very impressed.
That was the negative comment on Facebook. There was some reason that we were going that way, but
Landry,
yeah,
you brought up Landry's comments and the bullet points, and someone questioned his intelligence. I don't know if
so. As far as the comments that people will make, you're gonna get them when your video drops. You're gonna get them.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be. I'm sure, dude. Just well, I think you get a lot of positive comments, but like you ever see a complaint letter to a restaurant, people that have time on their hands are the people that type in complaints and are things that they don't like. You know what I mean? Like if you work at a restaurant or something. I went out to Father's Day. Anna took me to Musso Frank's for Father's Day, and we had an awesome dinner, and I had a great waiter, and I wrote a letter. I made a review. I went in and did a review and a whole thing, and I go, I don't know if anybody ever does this, but man, they made Father's Day great, and less people do that than spend, especially on like cruise ships, like a 2-page letter. He insulted me and blah, blah, blah. I mean, if people have negative things to write, they'll write them.
Yeah. Well, there's, and that should be, that sucks so bad when that happens, as far as people making negative. And some comics aren't easily approachable. I could see that, but like that offended me, and they're like, I don't give a shit, go fuck yourself. But I don't want to make anybody feel bad. And if there's a way that I can rework a joke so that I can look at it from a different perspective, I don't have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's just funny, and you need to lighten the fuck up. Sure. You know what I mean? Sometimes I make fun of myself, I think, for the first 15, 20 minutes of my act, and no matter what I'm doing. And that's what I do first. So when people get offended, I had a video that was one of the dry bar clips that they shared was about cyberbullying. And it was just a perspective that I had on it and got laughs. And this person messaged me on my Facebook fan page, and they wrote a whole letter to me about a child that was harassed and that I should be ashamed of myself. And I'm like, do you realize the number of people you have to get through to get to me? To place blame, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. You have to get past the bully, you got to get past the parents, you got to get past the principal, you got to get by your damn self. Where the fuck were you at? How is this my fault? Right. When you were the person that was nearby, it's like, look, you can disapprove of the joke or the line or the comedy and all that stuff. You could talk, it's lighthearted. You could say a number of things that I would probably agree with you. But when you start blaming me, right, for the shit that you personally were watching, like. That's hard for me.
I mean, now you're just projecting guilt, kind of. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm going to take it at someone else. I always laugh when someone tells me I'm wrong or not funny. Like I can go, I'm okay with different points of view on humor. Like I'm good with that. Like, you know what I mean? I think certain things are funny, and people go, I don't think that's funny. I go, but I do. But if you come up to me and someone will go, that wasn't funny. I go, I think it was really funny. You go, yeah, but it wasn't. I'm like, okay. And then they want to push the subject, and they'll go, no, really, it wasn't funny. I'm like, okay. What else do you want me to do here? I don't know. I'm not taking Yeah. Like I just like there are other people laughing. I go, everyone's laughing but you. Like everyone's laughing, but you're the one person that wasn't laughing. So, well, it wasn't funny. I go, I'm really not going to argue with you about this.
Well, for me, I'd rather just, gather everyone. Like, that's why I don't think I'll ever have any level of fame. Because I would gather everybody around. Nobody leave. Everybody stay.
Hold on.
Just share your opinion one more time. Just share your opinion. And I just want to get a group poll going. I just want to know how you feel about this, and then make that person, I don't want to make you feel like shit, but you're literally coming to me trying to make me feel like shit.
Right.
So just so you know, this is, and then right after they give their opinion, we can be like, hey, let me buy you a drink. Okay? Don't do shitty shit to shitty people.
Right.
Or don't do shitty shit to people.
It goes back to what I was saying earlier, though. That everybody just wants to be right. Nobody's cool with debating anymore. If you don't agree with someone, they're like, well, you're wrong. You're fucking wrong, and they don't talk to you anymore or whatever.
And I know it's gonna be hard to believe, but you hit the nail on the head with that. I have no problem being wrong. I would rather be wrong than be living my life in ignorance. I would rather be wrong. Please tell me. And I think it's a manly thing. I know that it's hard for my dad to do it. I remember we were sitting on the couch. My dad's military, 23 years. I didn't hear him speak till I was 9. Like, it was like the same house. It came by. Hey, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that. And I remember sitting on the couch and I was right about something. And my older brother does this too. But I was right about something and he was like, oh. And I proved him wrong right then while we were watching it. And I go, and I looked at him and I go, say you were wrong. Say you were wrong. Say it. And he just sat there looking at me like, what? I was like, say it. You were wrong. Just say you were wrong. And he looked like he's old. And I was trying to, this is how I give people heart attacks. But I was like, say it. Say you're wrong. And he goes, I was wrong. But I was like, no but. Just sit up and say you're wrong. There is no but. Just be wrong. There's no problem with you being, just be wrong. And now you're right. Now you can move forward. And you can, look at you being smarter.
See?
Yeah, I have no problem with me and saying any damn thing. Just let me know where you got your information from. And usually a conversation with me usually ends in two ways. They either hate, they don't like it. They don't like the mirror being put up. They don't like that, and so they go away and they find some other reason not to look up the information. I guess there's three things. They change my mind or I change theirs. Right. Those are the only things that happen. And I'm okay with any one of those situations.
Right. No, and you should be, dude. That's what comes about communicating and talking to people and learning a different perspective. It's always important to know all different perspectives involved. It just gives you a better idea where they're coming from. Yeah.
It helps us with comedy too. I think it helps us.
It's immensely comedy because with comedy, you got to look at things from all different directions anyway. You know what I mean? I mean, you have your own point of view and you tell your joke, but it helps to look at it, especially nowadays. Like I was having this conversation with Anna the other day. I always try I'm constantly looking to say something funny. You know what I mean? I mean, 24 hours a day, I'm trying to think of something funny no matter where I'm at. Whether I'm not trying to be funny to other people, but I'm trying to find humor in everything that's going on around me. And then that would be the first thing I used to do all the time. But now the second thing I do is I'll go, can I make this a joke? And then I go, is this joke going to offend or bother someone? You know what I mean? You got to be so aware of what you're saying now, especially around younger generation. My daughter's 20. There's a lot of things I do. She'll go, Dad, that's inappropriate.
The woke.
Yes. You got to be aware of that. You got to be aware of that. You got to be aware.
See, for me, I think a joke is, someone simplified it for me. In every joke, someone loses, right? It's either somebody else loses or you lose. And if it was explained to me, if somebody else loses, you're kind of 50-50 on if people are going to go with you. If you lose, they're going to go with you 100% of the time. Right. They may not like the joke, but at least they respect the fact that you're making fun of yourself. Sure. And I think as comics, we constantly have to see where we fuck up. We constantly have to see where we're wrong. If that's the kind of humor that's the kind of humor I like. I enjoy this art form to find, I think you discover a lot about what you can and cannot do. When COVID hit, I think one of my first jokes was, man, I realized I didn't have any friends when COVID hit, because everybody's like, oh, I'm by myself. I'm like, nothing's changed for me.
This is like a regular Tuesday. I don't know what you guys are all so upset about. That's weird.
Like that 2 weeks of quarantine, people are like, I can only go to the grocery store and back to my house. I was like, that's all I do. That's like, if you wanted to murder me, it's not hard. I do this same fucking thing every day.
Nobody would know. Nobody would know you're the only people would know you'd miss a gig. Or if it happened during COVID, nobody would know. You'd just be like, where's that one guy from the apartment? Remember the asshole? That guy?
That's the funniest thing about me. I know some people are social butterflies. They want to be friends with everybody. And I'm sure that's crazy of them. But I don't. This stand-up comedy, for all intents and purposes, I don't think I've ever done this. I don't remember. I know I did one. I did one with Guy Dan in South Dakota. I like that guy. But I really have to like somebody, I feel, in order to do this with them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
206 of these? Oh, my God. I can't. Second person I would do this with.
Well, I know. Well, I've been lucky. There's only been a handful of shows where I look back at it and go, I probably maybe shouldn't have done that one. There's been very few. Huh?
Shouldn't have had them.
Say it again?
Shouldn't have had them on. Is that what you
mean? It wasn't fun. I mean, to me, I can make every conversation fun because I can talk to anybody and I listen. You know what I mean? And usually with the shows, especially I'll let you talk about whatever you want to talk about and then I can just jump on board and I'm good. That is not a problem for me. So
Yeah.
there's only been 1 or 2 times where I've been with a guy who like, or someone that I'm like, this is a mistake.
You wanted to do a mulligan? Yeah, you wanted to do a
I
mulligan.
wanted to do a mulligan. I did want to do a mulligan. Dude,
That
with
one-
that, I got to go. It's 7:15. I didn't realize we moved so fast. I got a show in 40 minutes over down that way. I didn't realize that this was going
you're
so long.
Not
Say what?
moving today, dickhead. You
I'm
can
not
make
moving,
that-
but hey, we did an hour and 20-minute show. That's not bad.
Did-
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We started-
I'm doing this. I'm going to stop doing. I'm doing this podcast for a couple more weeks because then COVID is kind of over, so this podcast is kind of over, and then I'm going to do a different podcast. I'm actually going to be in the process of putting it together when I see you in August. So
Bring your stuff.
I'm bringing
your stuff
everything.
with you.
Yeah, I'll bring a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff and we'll tape and yeah.
I'll bring this guy. And
Yeah.
so you still have a video coming. For anybody that's watching, I know you like to plug other people's stuff, but if anybody goes to my YouTube channel, it's at Spencer James, just go and hit subscribe. If anybody, mulligans, everybody, if you want to hit subscribe there, the video is of me at the Laugh Factory in December. And then I had learned how to use the camera and take photos. And so if you want to go on my Instagram, I'm sorry, I'm shamelessly plugging this, but there's going to be great pictures of you coming up, Lenny. So
yeah, I can't wait. We shot a thing at the hotel.
Yeah, go to the Instagram. Go to Instagram and see what I just posted because I just posted the photos I took of my roommate. Actually, it was Father's Day that I just posted, but I only do 1 post a week right now on Instagram, and that's where I'm starting. And then
Good for you.
Once we get off the ship, I'm going to release all those videos, including the one of you. So
Sweet.
We'll
talk a bunch. We'll talk a bunch when I'm on that month because, like I said, I'll be redoing the podcast and we'll probably record because I want to have you on again. I'm changing the format. We'll talk about it in August, but I'm looking forward to doing something with you in August and recording it.
Dude, we're going to have a blast. You and I are
Yeah.
going to be in a last month. It's going to be dope.
It'll be the best. It'll be very cool. And fuck Canada. We don't have to go there. All right, man.
Thanks. Yeah,
Dude.
fuck 'em.
Yeah. Dude, kid. Folks, that's Spencer Mulligan right there. Spencer James. I almost called you Spencer Mulligan for some reason. That would have been awkward.
I'll join.
All right, man. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate. Oh, what else? What do you want to plug? You got the dry bar. You got a seat. What do you want to do? Talk to me.
If you go to my Instagram, Comedian Spencer, it's on there. Just hit follow. Or if you're a YouTube person, just go to the Comedian Spencer and then hit subscribe, and then that'll get the vlogs that are going to come after we get off the ship. But Instagram has my full dry bar comedy special in the bio. So if anybody wants to watch that, it's got 22 million hits. It's got 22 million views so far.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Dude, look at you.
All the so, yeah, people seem to like it. So
Good. Dude, good for you, man. That's great.
Thanks, big guy. I'm looking forward to being with you.
Yeah, it'll be fun, dude. I can't wait. I can't wait. We're going to have a blast for a month. That'll be cool. One more time. Spencer James. There he is. Yeah. He's a good man. Go dry your clothes. All right. Hey, guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I have to cut the end quick here. I apologize. Actually, I went longer with Spence than I thought we would. That was great. I hate the fact every time I have a show, and so I have a great show, or every time I have a stand-up show, I have a great guest. The same thing with Vince. When Vince was on, we talked for an hour and 45 minutes, but that was a really good show. Guys, thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate it. I'll be back next week on Monday. Guys, have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Take care. Let me see if I can jump on here real quick. Let me see who's going to be here next week on Monday. Oh, my gosh, I'm so organized. And by organized, I mean I am not organized at all. My good friend Scott Henry will be here Monday. He's started his own channel over on Clubhouse, and we're going to talk about that, talk about his wife, talk about where he's living, what he's doing. Besides that, you guys, before then, Saturday, the 26th, Reconnecting Comedy, 5. I can't wait. There's a lot of good stuff that's going to be on. There's some stuff I'm still editing. There's some stuff I'm putting together live. It's going to be great, and please tune in. I'll start plugging that show tomorrow on social media. And there you go. If you enjoyed the show and you want to sponsor in any way, bam, you can do so right there. Lenny Schmidt, Quarantine Comedy. I'm sorry, LennySchmidt.com if you can. Go there. There's all kinds of ways you can hit me up. Or go to Lenny Schmidt Comedy on any cash pay platform. So you guys are the best. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend. Tune in Saturday, the 26th, 6 p.m. Pacific. As always, do me a favor. Dream of Pinky.
Lenny Schmidt Quarantine Comedy was created, produced, and is hosted by Lenny Schmidt. We live stream on YouTube at 6 p.m. Pacific every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Special episodes occasionally stream or are uploaded on Tuesday and Thursday. Every episode is also launched as a podcast and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. If you enjoyed the show, please like the video. If you really like it, share the video. If you really, really like it, please subscribe to the Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. You'll get updates on this and numerous other online comedy content that my dad produces. Check the info section below for detailed information on all of our guests. If you are a fan, you can follow and support them as well. Go to their page, like their content, buy their albums, purchase a shirt, any merch they may be selling. Anything you do will support performers, will literally help save the arts. In fact, if you want to support this show financially, just go to lennyschmidt.com/ifyoucan or Venmo at Lenny Schmidt Comedy. If you donate as little as $1 or as much as $10,000, it will help pay for the stuff my dad keeps breaking. If you can't pay for the comedy content, that's okay. COVID sucks for all of us. Enjoy the free show. If you want to find a way to support what we do, just subscribe to Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. That really helps a lot. Thank you for listening to my dad's show, and as always, dream of Pinky.